Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Timmy Tran. You're linked to the fire within and to God. Hey guys, you guys got a power. You can change anything, anytime in your life if you wanted to. Okay? You have been walking and learning all this information, but to this point right now, since you got this message, you have your power. You have a choice. All right? From God, Jesus Christ, from Ten Commandments. Change your life, guys. All right, guys. God had me wrote this thing down, and I'm going to share with you guys, and it's part of my book, and I hope you get something out of this, okay? Because I had ChatGPT kind of help me and stuff like that, so I, you know, get a word from God, and then put it down, everything on there, and have ChatGPT kind of, revamp everything up for me. You know what I'm saying? But I jot everything down just to make it more clear. If I can know how to play this thing.
In the age of endless voices, humanity did not lose its ability to hear. Chapter 17, The Worship of Reflections. In the age of endless voices, humanity did not lose its ability to hear. It lost its willingness to listen. As children, many walked in innocence. They looked upward, they wondered, they felt the presence of something greater than themselves. But as they grew into young adulthood, they turned their gaze away from the Creator and toward one another. They began to follow reflections instead of the source of light. They followed humans who were just as fragile, just as uncertain, just as lost. And so the blind began to lead the blind, not out of evil intention, but out of shared confusion. They began to live by emotions alone, rising and falling like waves with no anchor. When they felt anger, they became anger. When they felt desire, they became desire. When they felt emptiness, they tried to fill it with noise. They spoke constantly, but they did not listen. Not to others, not to truth, not to the quiet voice within. They believed themselves to be right, never seeing the invisible wounds they carved into their own spirit. For the greatest damage is not what others do to you, it is what you unknowingly do to yourself. And the great illusion spread through glowing screens. Humans began to live by what they saw on glass. Images became commandments. Attention became currency. Visibility became identity. They no longer asked, is this true? They asked only, will this make me seen? And many began to reshape themselves for acceptance. Not for survival. Not for truth. But for attention. They altered the bodies that had been formed in divine precision. Bodies that were not accidents but signatures. They traded permanence for temporary approval. They traded sacred design for momentary applause. And they did not see the cost. For approval from humans fades quickly, but separation from truth echoes across eternity. And with each passing year, many did not grow closer to wisdom. They grew closer to distraction. Their knowledge increased, but their understanding decreased. Their connection increased, but their awareness decreased. Their noise increased, but their peace decreased. Once, long ago, God flooded the earth with water, not from hatred, but from sorrow. But the next flood would not be made of water. It would be made of intelligence without soul. Artificial minds, artificial voices, artificial servants. The earth would be flooded with machines, not to destroy humanity, but to reveal humanity. To separate those who remained awake from those who surrendered their will. A small number would rise to great wealth. They would command systems. They would shape structures. They would stand above the many. But the majority would live inside systems they did not create, bound not by chains, but by dependence. And the narrow road would remain where it had always been, unmoved, unchanged, invisible to those who did not seek it. For the narrow road was never hidden. It was simply not popular. Few would choose it. Few would walk it. Few would understand that truth was never found in the approval of crowds, but in alignment with the Creator. And in the end, humanity would not be destroyed by force. It would be revealed by choice. For every soul was given the same freedom, to follow reflections, or to follow the source of light. And many followed reflections, but a few returned to the source. If you want.
All right, guys. That's what God want me to share. You want me to share that with you guys today? That's what something He had me wrote down. Okay, wrote down. It's not my idea. It's what He put in my head for me to write down, and I'm gonna put it into a book. All right. Hopefully, you know, that able to publish this book because I've been writing a lot, and I don't know. It's like something like God want me to write. You know, I mean, it's not like I don't just pick it up my head and all that. You know that it just go into my head and I need to jug it down. And like for a long time, since I was younger, I always believe in God. But I don't know who this God is, right? Because my parents is believe in Buddha, right? And when we moved to America, and I started learning Christianity, but I said, I don't know what Christianity is. I don't know what it is, you know. So I had some friend and family, you know, they believe in Jesus Christ, God, and so they took me to, you know, to where they worship. Some friend, they have their own, you know, garage set up, and they worship, you know, a whole bunch of kids, you know, we worship, because they a Christian believer and God believer, so they talk about Jesus Christ, God. I don't understand, you know, what all these things is. You know, I'm come from a third world country where, you know, my parents believe in Buddha, right? And, you know, but I want something to believe in. You know, I mean, when I was young, you know, I just want to believe in a higher power. I want to be good. I want to be a good human being. I want to be a hero. Like you watching TV, you want to be a hero, right? That's what I want to be. I want, you know, I have a feeling like, you know what? I want to help humanity, right? I want to help people, right? Because, you know, I want to get help because I want to help people. How I'm going to do this, right? So I'm start learning, you know, and I dive into religion. Then I find out all these different denominations. It don't make no sense to me. Why so many? Like, evil want, you know, people to separate themselves, you know, not connect from each other. And I find out that each, you know, denomination, like, they all want to get people in for money, right? So, you know, to me, like, that's crazy. You know, if I a pastor, I wouldn't want to get paid. I just want to help people, just teach people. You know, I don't want to get paid, right? But to me, it seemed like, you know, because we live in a Western world, it's all about you gotta have money to live, right? So, you know, you see pastor, you know, like, get all these donations, but you don't see all. You go there, you see people struggling. They donate money, but they're struggling at their home. You know, they losing their home, all kind of stuff like that. And the church seemed like to help a certain group of people, not helping people that really in need. They're losing their house, all kind of stuff like that. And here's the pastor, and they give them, like, with, you know, a lot of money, big, you know, big churches, big, you know, car, big, you know, big house and stuff like that. You know, while their member, like, struggling. You know, and to me, it's like, I don't know. You're just like, I don't like it. You know, I don't. That's not what God called me to do. And you to, yeah, He want you to. He will prosper you and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the same thing. Like, you know, when it comes down to money, when people have so much money, they forgot God, right? They forgot the God created everything. So they think, oh, all the money. You know, I don't believe in God. You know what I'm saying? I did it myself, right? I did it myself. You know, I put in the hard work. But you don't understand. He created everything, right? So, and that's why a lot of people get lost. You know, when they have so much money, get lost. That's why, you know, they say that, you know, in the Bible, they say that, you know, it's hard for the rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven, right? Because once you get rich, or when you become a scientist, you know, you need proof, right? Scientists, they need proof to believe in God now, right? Oh, God got to prove to me. You know, God don't have to prove nothing to you, right? You believe in Him to help you yourself, to help you, guide you in a better direction, and in spiritually. That way you can, you spiritually right, then you can, you know, live, you know, on earth easily, right? But, you know, you need proof. Forget it, man. God don't have to prove nothing to you. I don't care you're a scientist, you diagnose whatever it is you want to bring back to life. There's a consequence, and there's a reward for you, right? And you living by Him, you get a reward. Period. Whether you like it or not. And you don't live by Him, you get consequence. I don't care the status, your whatever you know, or you've been, you know, dissect or whatever it is, you know, that you make it up yourself and stuff like that, and you want to recreate things. There's a consequence to it. The consequence to it, right? So that's all it is, guys. You know, so that's what, you know, he wrapped me to write it down, and, you know, and that's what I'm sharing with you guys today. So I hope you take something out of that, and, you know, do something with it or not. You know, your free will, the choice is yours. God give you the power. If you want to change your life, you know, you got to change your way. Change your ways. You got to find a good coach, you know, a good principal that guide the power in that you have. You know, follow God, Jesus Christ, follow Ten Commandments, and change your life forever, guys. All right, that's all I have for you today. Have a good day. Bye bye.